we've done throughout this process. The one thing I'll speak to briefly, and then if my colleagues would like to chime in, we are aware and understanding of the concerns with the basin located near Mayfair Elementary. As I've said before, and as my colleagues have reiterated, we want to stress that these basins are not they're not attractive for children. They will be fenced in, and above all, understand that the vast majority of the time they're going to be dry. So I understand that when you hear basin, water, these type of things, and I know there's been some misinformation that's gone around throughout this project since we began. You think about pool, you think about kids getting in and drowning and things like that, and that's a understandable concern. But just try to understand that the sewer district, that's not what we're coming in to do. I think, Jeff, what's the number? 240 days out of the year, the basin will be completely dry. In instances when there is water in it, we're talking about not more than a few feet, and it will draw down rapidly. So again, we're not talking about a situation with standing water for long periods of time in which children will be at risk. And then last but not least, and I know this is something I've said before as well, the times when there will be water in these basins, for the most part, it's going to be like a torrential downpour like it was earlier this evening, which we would not expect for young children to be outside playing around it anyway. And again, as the fail-safe, in response to council's concerns, the basin will be fenced. So hopefully, describing that, you understand that the sewer district, Allison, who's designed the project, we've taken a lot of these considerations into consideration, especially with Mayfair because of the proximity to the school. I don't know if you guys have anything to add, but we can take questions. Like I said, we don't have the full presentation we have in the past, but anything you'd like to ask, please.
Yeah, let's start, gentlemen and lady. Let's start with the questions that came up in the beginning. One was around Mayfair. What is your feeling about the Mayfair situation? Because in a number of presentations that you guys made, that always comes up. So what's your response to the question about Mayfair? All of you or anyone?
I'll take that initially. From the beginning of this project through the 3-year design period, we have made numerous iterations to improve the safety of these green infrastructure facilities, especially at Mayfair. We have steeper slope. Normally we like a certain side slope of 4-to-1 to make it easier for our maintenance vehicles to get down the side slope, or the contractor we hire for maintenance. We've increased that side slope to 3-to-1 simply to give the basins a larger area. And by giving the basins a larger area, we reduce the maximum water depth that you will ever see. So in a typical 5-year period, that basin will now only see 3.9 feet of water on a theoretical 5-year storm. Normally, as Joe mentioned, we don't fence these. We have added fences to increase the safety. Initially, our designers had that at 42 inches. We said, no, that's not high enough. We made it 48 inches, which would still not sound very high.
What's that about, 4 feet?
4 feet, yes, so that would be right about here. And the logic of the 4 feet is, number one, in a lot of communities, if the swimming pool rule would be that you have to have a 4-foot fence. So we thought, well, that's, equivalent to reducing that drowning risk. If it's 4 feet high, we feel that the little kids won't be able to climb the fence. The big kids still will. That's another reason it was 4 feet rather than 5. As that basin starts to slope down behind the fence, we were concerned that if a big kid does climb over the fence, that if it started to rain and he wanted to get out, he's down on the lower side, and it's that much harder for the big kid to get out. So we decided 4 feet would be the maximum, and that's why tonight I gave you the update that show the 4 feet. We changed that by addendum to the drawings. So again, we went through this iterative process to just keep resizing the basins to make the water levels lower. Also, to get the water out of the basin within the 24 hours for the normal, what we call water quality volume, and 48 hours after a bigger storm. We actually, on some of these, have double pipes coming out because of other utilities we have to cross. One pipe, it would be too big to cross under the other utilities, so we added the double pipes. So we have gone back and forth to try to address the concerns. Also at Mayfair, we are not allowing the contractor to do any access from the school side. They have to access the basin from the opposite street. So we've made several of those accommodations.
What about the issue of the playground and playground equipment?
It- Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Right, so this is not a playground. However, it requires a conditional use through your zoning code. So your zoning code either calls it a playground or a public space. So this is going in as a public space. You do not have a use of green infrastructure. So this is your zoning code that's going under. And if I may speak to safety a little
Yes.
bit, we have 3 other green infrastructure projects that are already in the ground. One at Fair Hill and MLK in the city of Cleveland. That does not have a fence around it. We have another one at Fleet Avenue, right in a residential area. There's no fence around that one. And then we have the last one at the Urban Agricultural Innovation Zone off of Kinsman and East 81st. The largest basin there is located within a city park, directly adjacent to a basketball hoop and a playground. Just across the street is Riddle Green Partnership. If you're familiar with them, they do a lot of great urban ag work, and they also do many school field trips to their property, and they are very supportive of our green infrastructure project. And again, there is no fence at that basin. So we have listened to the community, and that's why we are putting in fences at these green infrastructure features. However, we do not feel there is a safety concern or need for fence, but we are doing that because of the city.
Okay, the other thing that I was concerned about is, I think you have 8 pieces of legislation for first reading on here. So this is going to be it's going to make a profound impact on the city of East Cleveland. So the questions that are raised not only by the citizens but all the other council people are going to be very paramount in terms of how we vote. There's a lot of trepidation about this whole project in terms of what we hear from the public is they feel we're the dumping ground for this and for that. Joe, you have a family member still here in East Cleveland, right?
Do. And again, throughout this entire process, I think we've tried to be as clear as possible to explain that, it's not a dumping ground by any means. And Allison can speak to the technical aspects of it to be just as simple as I can. And Jeff has stressed that I have as well. The water that's going to be in these basins is water that falls from the sky, that would fall in the city of East Cleveland anyway. Anything that you've heard about it being a dumping site or sewage being transported in from other cities is 100% false. There's no clear way that I can put it. It's not that at all. The basin merely, and again, I'm not an engineer, so I'm going to put it to you simply as the way that it's been explained to me by people who understand it better than I do. We have rainfall that comes down when it rains that now goes into impervious surfaces like cement and things like that, and is an extra burden on the city sewer system. We have this basin. The basin will collect the water, or a significant portion of it, from an identified drainage area. The water will drain into the basin and flow out in a timely manner. That's really all it is. I mean, it's water that falls from the sky. There's not going to be trash that's dumped there. It's nothing coming from other cities. And again, as we've stressed before, in regards to maintenance, the sewer district is responsible for maintaining the basin. So, if there's a situation whereby something is dumped there by residents or anything like that, it comes to look in any kind of disrepair, we have to come out and address it, and we do so throughout our contracts. It's in our contracts to do so in a timely manner. Hopefully that addresses.
That covers a lot. I was going to ask you about the maintenance. In your contract, does that stipulate you come out the first year or you come